Hey, VC. That mess of wires over there. Going away, going away. It's too loud? Excuse me. How y'all doing? It's almost Christmas. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I got some amazing VCLT from Eddie Perez. Hey Eddie, thank you so much. Eddie doesn't make videos that I know of. Eddie, if you do, you gotta let me know. But he contacted me, asked me if I had this record, and no, I didn't have it. Finforce, first debut record, self-titled debut record from, this is from 1975. Thank you, Eddie. This is awesome. Recent reissue on Svart. Yep, authorized reissue of Finforce's debut album, originally released on Love Records in 1975. Filed under classic progressive rock. I'd go even further. This is all instrumental, jazz rock fusion. Killer musicianship on this stuff. And these kids, these brothers, were like 17 years old when they hit this record. I mean, killer. Thank you, Eddie. This is awesome. I have a later record of theirs called Demon Nights that's excellent, of course. Very, very cool. It's, you know, it's amazing to me that people send me records. And now, a word about VCLT. Thank you, Eddie. I can't thank you enough. I wouldn't know what to send you. And so, speaking of VCLT, now I've sent some VCLT for Christmas. I actually got it together to send some VCLT. It was hit or miss there for a second. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get off my ass and get it done. But you know, nowhere near like, you know, what it should be really. But I just, my interpretation of VCLT is just the train and it comes to the station and it keeps going, right? It's not like, you know, it's supposed to turn around and come back, right? So if I sent you records, if I send you VCLT, don't think that you have to send anything back to me. Instead, get on the love train and send something somewhere else down the line. I think that's like a much cooler way of looking at it than like, oh, I sent you a record, so what are you going to send me in return? Huh? That's not what it's about, at least not for me. All I can say, Eddie, is I will try to, you know, keep the love train moving down the line, because this is awesome. And just thank you so much, Eddie. I've spun this a number of times already, and it's just great. It's just killer. It makes me want to get the rest of these Svart reissues. They sound really good. Yes, thank you very much. So, cheers, everybody. Kind of a staple this time of year. Nut Brown Ale from Blackstone Brewery. They changed the label on here. It's kind of cool. Gives it kind of a steampunk look, I guess. I don't know. So, I got some records to show. I'm feeling this is too loud. Let's just show some records. This might have been out for a while. It came out this year. I just saw it at my local, and I pick up these things on this label, Revenge International. They do a smashing job of packaging and stuff. Pressings can be a little iffy, but this sounds really good to me. So what is it? It is Pauline Anna Strom, Transmillennium Music. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like and looks like. It's, you know, kinda new agey electronic space music. Excellent. She's American, and I think this is from like early 80s. And she did a number of things in like 4 LPs and some cassettes, and then kind of went off and kind of left music behind. This is great if you're into electronic, ambient, new age, cosmic, krautrock. style electronic music. This is excellent, excellent comp, really beautiful packaging with this fold over, slides out from the top, has a nice little booklet. Fantastic, fantastic. Pauline Anna Strom, Transmillennia music. Highly recommended. I found this on CD. I haven't done a non-vinyl update in a long time, but I buy CDs. You know, they're giving CDs away, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I think I found a sealed copy of this CD for like $2, and so I'm like, what the hell? My friend Andrew Dixon, drummer, really likes these guys, and I've heard good things about them. And they actually opened for Opeth on the last tour, although I didn't see them. Yeah, so Gojira. Magma. I like the CD, so I decided I'd pick up the vinyl. It's on Roadrunner. Came out last year. And it's just a single LP, and it sounds great, and it was under 20 bucks. Good deal. Now, you might note here some shrink wrap action. You know, when something like this, which is like integral to the artwork, is on the shrink wrap, I'm going to get out that X-Acto knife and try to carefully cut, and then I'm going to do that because I'm insane. Yeah, this is excellent. Yeah, so what is it? Metal. It's metal. I think they used to be more of like a technical death metal kind of thing. I believe they're French, but now live in the States. And anyway. And so, you know, this is like their 12th album, and they've been around for a while. This is apparently the first one with some clean singing, and it's very atmospheric and it's very good. It's I like it quite a lot. It makes me want to check out their earlier stuff. You know, when Teddy was here, he told me something that was really nice. I was amazed. He said, you know, I have no interest in metal, but I like listening to you talk about it. And I thought, wow, that's kind of amazing. So what is there to say about this? And why metal? You know, well, again, like, okay, the artwork is like how it sounds, and it's ambitious, and it's musically ambitious, and it has lots of, you know, ebbs and flows, and it can be really huge and heavy, but it can also be like light, or at least less heavy. I don't know. It's really well done, and you know, what is there to say? I dig it. Now here's something that's just all the way heavy the whole time. A reissue of Yob's album, The Great Cessation, which originally came out on Profound Lore, and then the vinyl came out on Southern Lord. Sorry. This is a relapse, remastered, reissue. Yeah, so originally came out in 2009. I think the Southern Lord LP came out in like 2011 or something like that. So this is the 2017 remastered, colored vinyl, yada yada yada. I mean, new artwork on relapse. And they did a fantastic job remastering this. You know, not that the other one sounded bad or anything, but this is just all the way around more textured and heavy, deep bass, and you know, granular tones of, you know, the guitars and the massed strings and stuff. And the guy Mike Scheidt, the guitarist and singer, has one of the greatest growls of all metal, really, I think. I mean, he just sounds possessed. And what's interesting is that as these guys matured, like a band like Ohm, you know, got really into like Eastern religion and stuff. And so the subject matter of this isn't like, oh, praise Satan. It's really like kind of addressing, you know, sort of an Eastern philosophical viewpoint, you know, that, you know, aligns pretty well with, you know, heavy music, you know. Yeah, this is fantastic. Love it. I'll probably keep my Southern Lord version. Why? Because I'm a record collector. Okay, I am. All right. Cheers, record collectors. Okay, one more metal thing. Although these guys are kind of post-metal, I don't know. A really nice reissue of Solstafir's fourth record, maybe. The one before Ota, which was kind of the breakthrough record. The first one I heard from like 2012 or something. This is the one before that. And God help me, I can't even pronounce it. Limited to 400 copies on Season of Mist. These guys are just fucking great. I have no idea what they're singing about. They're from Iceland, I believe. No clue what they're singing about. And but it doesn't matter because it's just so intense and like, you know, whatever they're singing about, they mean it, you know? And the music is really atmospheric and changeable, like the weather, and again, like ambitious, not just like, you know, dumb riffs or whatever. It's really sustained sort of mood throughout the whole album. Really great, really awesome. I just love these guys. Apparently, there's been reissues of their first couple records, which I need. All right, a couple other reissues here of yeah, a band I've always been kind of vaguely aware of, and you know, I'd heard their stuff and saw a version of them in the '80s, but never bothered to buy their records. So these recent reissues of the Throbbing Gristle. This is the Throbbing Gristle's second annual report. Limited edition on white vinyl with stickers and inserts. Includes a digital copy with additional audio. I haven't downloaded that yet. But yeah, music from the Death Factory from Throbbing Gristle. What is there to say about this? They also reissued this, which is a classic, 20 Jazz Funk Grades. They're taking the piss, folks, alright? So yeah, limited edition, green vinyl, 8-page booklet, blah blah blah. Again, I haven't checked out the download. It sounds good. I mean, this, you know, this is lo-fi anyway. Like, so what difference does it make? This, they're like playing around with drum machines and you know, just taking the piss. And, you know, apparently this cover is like Lover's Leap. You know, this place in England, Lover's Leap. You know, they're standing right where like people would jump to their deaths. And the whole 20 Jazz Funk Grades. You know, this like. This is, you know, this is maybe all the Throbbing Gristle I really need. Yeah, so I saw Psychic TV in like '86. And it was a spectacle, but it was like really kind of, the music was really dumb. I thought it was just like four on the floor kind of, you know, I guess you would call it electric body music or something. You know, but disco basically, just. What do I know though? Alright, so just a few more here. Yeah, I liked that reissue of Joe Henderson's Elements with Alice Coltrane so much, so I decided I'd check out some more of this Jazz Dispensary label. So I picked up this Azar Lawrence Bridge into the New Age, which really originally came out in 1974 on Prestige. And this is, you know, I hate the term spiritual jazz, because show me some jazz that isn't spiritual, okay? But anyway, spiritual jazz is shorthand for what's going on here. You got Gene Carn on vocals on some tracks. You got that kind of Afro groove thing happening. Azar Lawrence, of course, is on soprano and tenor saxophones. He spent a brief period of time with Miles Davis in the 70s. So yeah, Gene Carn, Woody Shaw on trumpet, Ray Straughter on wood flute. Anyway, Billy Hart on drums, Julian Priester's on here. Musically, this is fantastic. And it's, you know, cut by Kevin Gray, who does excellent work, and, you know, it was pressed at Quality Record Pressing, and to do quality pressings. But you know, I was listening to this and there was something vaguely unsatisfying about the sound, and it reminded me of some of Kevin Gray's work on stuff for like Friday Music, you know, Joe Rogosso's thing. And Kevin Gray caught a few things and did the best he could, you know, but clearly working with like inferior digital sources. And I just can't help but there's just a glassiness about the high frequencies that it's just you know. But you know, it probably also was a very bright recording. I mean, it was recorded at Fantasy Studios in Berkeley. But yeah, musically this is fantastic. The fit and finish, the packaging, everything, and you know the sound. It's good. It's just I wonder about the source. That's all. Okay, here's. You know, and then there's Soul Jazz, who have been doing wonderful work, and who knows what their sources are, but it doesn't matter. This stuff is so rare. The Lloyd McNeil Quartet, his debut self-released private press record, Asha, the Asha record label, originally came out in what, 1969, I think, something like that. Got Lloyd McNeil on piccolo and flute, Gene Rush on piano, Steve Novoselic on bass, and Eric Grabat on percussion, with Phil Hawkins on Latin percussion. This is great. You know, it's more acoustic, but it's in that, like, you know, spiritual jazz bag. Yeah, great. You know, and original is super rare. Soul Jazz has done 2 previous Lloyd McNeil records that are great, so I had to get this, and I recommend that you do as well if you're into that stuff. Alright, one more thing. This is not new. Is found it gently used, and I'm really excited that this woman is getting some respect in the VC. I need to get her most recent record, especially now that I found this, the one previous to that. So yeah, Nicole Mitchell's Black Earth Ensemble. This is Intergalactic Beings, which came out on 2014, I believe, something like that. This is fantastic. This is modern AACM free jazz, you know, and it has, you know, people like Jeff Parker on it, and you know, a bunch of great, you know, current players. You know, jazz is not dead. Jazz is alive and well. People like Nicole Mitchell and, you know, Mary Halverson and Ingrid Laubrock, and the women are killing it. And this is excellent, and I am totally going to get her most recent one. You know, she was at Big Ears when I was there, but it was at this little venue, and there was something else that I didn't get to see her. So, but this is great. I'm really looking forward to picking up more of her stuff. I've heard some live things by her, but I hadn't really dug into her discography. But this is fantastic. All right. So yeah, next week is Christmas. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Trying to get into the spirit. I found this at Hound Dog Hoover's little tent sale. Yeah, he closed his store, but like once a month, weather permitting, he's doing a little tent sale. So yeah, so the Ravers, it's going to be a punk rock Christmas on the Zombie label. So yeah, Daddy Maxfield. This is kind of like an LA session guy send up of punk. It's from '77, you know. It's right, you know. And that cover, I guess that's supposed to be like Mick Jagger and Peter Frampton. I'm not sure who this is all supposed to be, but it's fun. It's a promo copy. So you can see promo copy not for sale. The mono on one side, stereo on the other side. Mono kicks ass. Yeah, so this is fun. I think it was like a couple bucks. So when I heard this was coming out, I almost couldn't believe it because I've had a bootleg of it for a long time. I've sent it to a lot of friends, you know, people who hadn't heard this stuff. I remember hearing this stuff when, back in like in the 70s, hearing it on midnight radio and my clock radio, and like trying to sleep on Christmas Eve. They would play the Beatles Christmas messages, and they're just insane. And they've put them out in a little reproduction box set. And you know, they were saying, you know, limited edition. It's not numbered or anything. They didn't say, you know, what is limited edition, but it is the Beatles, right? So I jumped on it, and I think they're already getting to be hard to find. And as you can see, it's still sealed. Here it is. You know, I was thinking I'd do a little seal to reveal. You can see that it's reproductions of all the original sleeves and on colored vinyl. And what do you think? Should we open it up? Still with me? Why not? Let's open this up. So, for those of you who don't know about the Beatles Christmas messages, you know, they had a fan club starting in 1963, you know, before Beatlemania ever started. And, you know, I forget the guy's name. I got the idea that, like, hey, you know, why don't we do a little Christmas message? We'll put it on a flexi disc and mail it out to everyone in our fan club. And the Beatles were like, hey, that's awesome. And so they did it, and it became like a thing, and they did it every year until the Beatles were no more. And honestly, it traces, you know, the history of the Beatles very accurately, because it starts out, it's all cheeky fun, and then the drugs start to take over. And by the end, you can tell they hate each other because they're not even in the same room. So here we go. It's out of its shrink wrap. Happy Christmas, Beatle people. So let's open up this box here. Okay, so we have a booklet. Oh, with lots of information. I guess reproduces the little newsletter that you would get with it. That's pretty awesome. Okay. Oh, wow, these are all... Wow, they're all shrink wrapped. Okay, so we have 1963. $1964. $1965. Ooh, something happens in 1966. And LSD is still legal. And if you're a Beatle, you can get it from your dentist. Alright. So yeah, everywhere it's Christmas. Starting to get weird here. Excellent. 67. Yeah, so by this time, you know, they're having a ball in the studio putting these things together. They're like really, they're super creative, and you know, originals are really rare. I've seen some later ones, like I think I've seen this one, 1968, but expensive. Like, so here by 1968, you know, they're like starting to not really like each other so much. And then here we have the final one, 1969. Really, by the time fans were getting this in the mail, the Beatles were no more, but they didn't know it at the time. Now, gosh, should I, you know, unseal all these? Well, I'm not going to do that. Let's see. I think some of these are, they all just sort of, yeah, okay. I guess we could unseal this one. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, it's going a little long. Sorry, folks. But hey, sealed to revealed with the Beatles. The Beatles. Alright. So here we go. Now, I know people like to make fun of the Beatles because, you know, because people think, you know, oh, hey, I've got this, you know, beat up 9 millionth pressing of, you know, Let It Be or whatever, and it must be worth a fortune. Oh, I have these Beatles records, they must be worth a fortune. It's like, well, no, there's millions of Beatles records out there, and for the most part, they're not worth anything, particularly if they're in crap shape. But there are some truly rare Beatles items, and you know, these things, you know, I mean, there were 30,000 people in the fan club. You know, certainly by the end, I think there's like 30,000 of these maybe around. But compared to millions of copies of, you know, Abbey Road, you know, this is, you know, vanishingly small a number, you know. And they were pressed on flexidisc. Up until like the last few, I think, were pressed on vinyl, but so they're really fragile, and they're hilarious. If you've never heard them, they're so fun. They're just, you know, they're just, you know, they're fun and they're funny, and I'm super excited to have these reproductions. I think, you know, it looks like they did a really nice job with it, and apparently they tried to find the best sounding sources they could. You know, the first ones, they had no idea in 1963 that they were going to be worth anything, so they wiped the tapes. And you know, by 65, you know, it's like they kept everything. And so really cool. If you care at all about the Beatles, if you care at all about Christmas, and if you've heard these, you want this. You do. I'm excited, as you can tell. Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas. All right. Well, trying to get into the spirit. You know, the world's going to hell. But what the fuck? You know, what the fuck can I do about it, right? So, Merry Christmas to you all. I'll probably see you before the new year. I hope you have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.